What's up, guys? I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about addition for the GRE and SAT, and let's get right into it. All right, guys, so this is the little challenge problem for you. I want you to show the following expression is equivalent to the imaginary number I, okay? Now, if you can already prove this, and go ahead and take a second to do it, but if you can already do it, go ahead and skip this video. You're good. If you can't do it, keep watching this video, and I'll show you every single concept you need to solve this problem. Okay, guys, so first thing is that numbers can be broken down into combinations of other numbers, okay? And what I want you to take away from the slide is that if you have like a weird addition problem, you can always just break the numbers down into smaller chunks so that it's more manageable. Okay, so I'm hoping that all of us know that 5 plus 8 is 13. All right, but let me just show you a really easy way to show that if you didn't already know. Okay, so 8 can be broken down into 5 plus 3. We all know that 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 3 is therefore 13. Okay, so if you ever get overwhelmed by an addition problem, just remember that you can always break it down into chunks. Okay, here's another example: 13 plus 27. So 13 is just 10 plus 3, 27 is 20 plus 7. We can then just rewrite it. So we have 20 plus 10 plus 3 plus 7. We know 20 plus 10 is 30, 3 plus 7 is 10, so therefore it is 4. Okay, now here's my question for you. Is subtraction just addition with negative numbers? The answer to this question is yes, okay? So you can go ahead and try it for yourself. If we have 37 minus 17, this is the same thing as saying 37 plus negative 17, which is in fact 20, okay? So I'm not even going to cover subtraction because all you need to know is addition. All right, guys, so a fraction is just a cleaner version of the decimal, okay? And one thing I love about fractions is that it gives us an exact value. So anytime you see fractions, you should be happy to see them because you can always get an exact value out of it, okay? So now I want to talk about how do we add fractions. All right, guys, so please do not do this, okay? This is actually a common mistake, all right? So people will see 2/3 plus 1/2, they'll say, oh, it's 3/5, right? You just add the top, you add the bottom. And absolutely not. You do not want to do that, okay? And can you explain to me why that's wrong? All right, so think about it for a second and see if you can explain why it's wrong. All right, guys, so the reason that's wrong is that our answer should have been more than 1, okay? Let's just think about this logically. 2/3 plus 1/2. Well, 2/3 is greater than 1/2, right? So if 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1, and 2/3 is greater than 1/2, then it should be greater than 1, okay? So that's how we know that it's wrong logically, all right? So then how do we add fractions then, right? So the first thing we need is a common denominator, okay? So 2/3 plus 1/2, we're gonna need to give these both the common denominator of 6, all right? And it can really be any common denominator, just as long as it's the same. And once we do that, then we only add the numerators, okay? We're not going to add the denominator, all right? So 2/3 plus 1/2 is 7/6, which is a little bit more than 1, right? So this is exactly what we would expect from our previous discussion. All right, guys, so this is a really important trick, okay? You're going to use this a lot on the SAT, all right? So what this is saying is that A plus B divided by C, that can be split up into A divided by C plus B divided by C, okay? So this is just a little trick that's super important to know, all right? So I'll go on ahead and walk you through this example here, okay? So we have 2x plus 3 divided by 3, right? How can we rewrite that? So what we can do is we can just say, okay, well, that's just the same thing as 2x divided by 3 plus 3 divided by 3. And then we know that we can simplify that down to 2x over 3 plus 1 because 3 divided by 3 is in fact just 1, okay? So very important trick. Make sure you know this one, all right? Okay, now let me ask you this. Can I do this? Can I split up the denominator? Let's see. Actually think about it, okay, and see if logically you can prove to yourself why that is. All right, so the answer is no. You cannot do this, all right? You cannot split up the denominator and add them together like that. And you might be wondering why. Well, let me show you, okay? Let's, instead of doing symbols, let's do it with numbers, right? So if we have 1 divided by 2 plus 2, and then I say, you know what, let's split that up into 1/2 plus 1/2, that's going to equal 1, okay? So that is not true because this entire thing is just 1/4, right? So 1/4 is not equal to 1, therefore we cannot split this up, okay? So remember, you can only split up the numerator whenever the denominator is the same, okay? And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I can go into more detail on this, all right? Okay, so now we're back to our problem, all right? So guys, I just told you every single concept you need to solve this problem, so go ahead and try it for yourself, all right? So let's go ahead and get right into it, okay? All right, so this is what it looked like initially. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just like we talked about, I'm going to split this up into 3 chunks right here, okay? So there we go, I split it up into 3 chunks. All right, guys, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this negative to these 3 values right here, okay? So there we have our negative, our negative, our negative, all right? So now what I did is I just canceled out all of our values, all right? So we have a over c minus a over c, that's going to be 0, right? So these are going to cancel out. And then we have b over c minus b over c, those are going to cancel out, all right? Now I'm left with c divided by c minus 2, okay? So what's c divided by c? Just 1, right? All right, guys, now, do you see what I'm getting at here? If you don't have the answer already, that's fine, but here, let me just show you what it's going to be. It's going to be negative 1, which is by definition, right? I is by definition the square root of negative 1, okay? So there you go. Now we've just shown that those are equivalent, all right? And just a quick little pro tip here, these 3 bars means defined as, okay? So just a little pro tip there. All right, guys, that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, all right?